Chapter 6:16. The Eternal World. The eternal world was vast. It was full of experts and killers. Survival would be a more difficult endeavor in this world. Firmament territory was considered a huge territory in the eternal world, and it controlled millions of ancient worlds. There were many warriors in the ancient world, but they were far weaker than those in the eternal world. Warriors in the ancient world could only reach the skyscraping realm. The divine realm was inaccessible to them. To become stronger, they had to go to the eternal world. Usually, the only way in was to get an ancient world token and attend the Firmament Territory Feast, which was held every 3,000 years. Firmament Territory Feast was the biggest gathering in the Firmament Territory. It was a dream destination for geniuses. Each Firmament Territory Feast would attract innumerable geniuses, which included skyscraping realm experts from both the ancient world and the Firmament Territory. If their displays of talent and potential at the Firmament Territory Feast were appreciated by Firmament Territory's top sects, they would receive many resources and treasures. Today was the opening day of the Firmament Territory Feast. Geniuses had come in great numbers. Among the ancient worlds: husband, father, master. An armor-clad and strapping middle-aged man with sword-shaped eyebrows was saying goodbye to his family and friends. His name was Feng. He was a born fighter and peerless genius. He had reached the peak in this ancient world with his unique gift in less than 100 years. He had been unbeatable in this ancient world 1,500 years ago. There were many skyscraping realm experts, and several had created their own secret skills in this ancient world, but he was known as the strongest expert. If the skyscraping realm experts with secret skills banded together, they would still be no match for him. He had remained unbeatable for a long time. He had also spared no effort to elevate his son and other relations to the skyscraping realm. His entire life appeared perfect. Many experts in this ancient world respected and admired him. But only he knew that he had felt lonely for 1,500 years. To have no rival was lonely. He had been suffering from loneliness for 1,500 years. Today, the Firmament Territory Feast would begin. His inner flame flared up again. I will be back. It wouldn't take long. After saying goodbye to them, Feng waved and flew into the portal. In another ancient world, a white-haired elder stood at the top of a mountain, looking up at the portal above him. The eternal world. His eyes were filled with frenzied excitement. He stepped forward in his bare white feet. The white-haired man entered the portal. No one noticed that the expert who had suffered from loneliness in this ancient world for 2,000 years had left. This white-haired elder was Huiying. There was a myth in this ancient world that Huiying was unbeatable. 800 years ago, Huiying had disappeared. All thought that he had died or left. In fact, he had concealed his identity and meditated alone in the mountains for all these years. That was because nothing in the ancient world held his interest. Today, he left with the ancient world token. Feng and Huiying were top geniuses who had been alone for years in their respective ancient worlds. The Firmament Territory Feast would be their chance for new adventures. In these ancient worlds, there were many people like them. The Firmament Territory Feast was held every 3,000 years, which was a long time for people in ancient worlds. People like Feng and Huiying were considered lucky, unlike most of the others. Some had no ancient world token. Even more tragically, some managed to obtain tokens but died before the Firmament Territory Feast. Only a few of them eventually made it to the Firmament Territory Feast. The Firmament Territory Feast was a very rare opportunity for them. No one would miss it. They arrived at a vast drill ground. Its gem ground was transparent, a sight that no one from the ancient worlds had seen before. People arrived at the drill ground in succession. Soon, at least 100,000 people had gathered there. The arrivals included men and women of all ages who were dressed differently. All of them looked around curiously after arriving at the drill ground. In the crowd, a black-robed young man with a long sword on his back surveyed his surroundings. Is this the eternal world? Jian Wushuang frowned. He noticed that the eternal world was different from the ancient world. Such a stable space. Jian Wushuang touched the air and found that the space was much more stable than that of the ancient world. In the ancient world, Dark Emperor's secret skill could produce a space rift, and Shui Yang could heavily damage the space with simple moves. But the Eternal World was different. The space of the Eternal World was much more stable. Jian Wushuang was much stronger than Dark Emperor now, but he knew that he couldn't do any harm to this space even if he were 100 or 1,000 times stronger. Chapter 617. A Sea of Geniuses. Moreover, Jian Wushuang realized that the spiritual power and origin energy in the Eternal World were much richer. The origin energy was at least 100 times richer than that of the ancient world. Jian Wushuang had cultivated the 4th level of the Earth Core Palace in the Monster Continent. Compared with the Eternal World, the origin energy there was also much weaker. However, this was just an ordinary place in the Eternal World. The ancient world is incomparable to the Eternal World. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Just like the disparity between Nanyang Continent and the Divine Land, the difference between the ancient world and the Eternal World was beyond words. The skyscraping realm experts from ancient worlds around Jian Wushuang looked around and gasped in admiration. Suddenly, Jian Wushuang saw a man he knew, Dark Emperor. Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang had spotted Dark Emperor, a black-robed man with a cold face. Jian Wushuang had met him before. Dark Emperor noticed Jian Wushuang too. He walked towards Jian Wushuang, accompanied by a black-skinned elder with a frail and thin frame. Jian Wushuang recognized the elder. Dark Emperor, Sir Ming. As Jian Wushuang looked at them, a smile spread on his face. Dark Emperor had done him a favor when Jian Wushuang was dealing with Su Ming. There were no grudges between the two of them. Although Jian Wushuang disliked Dark Emperor's selfishness, he was happy to meet an expert who came from the same ancient world. Sir Ming was a top expert as famous as Dark Emperor. As they came from the same ancient world, the trio naturally stuck together. Are you Jian Wushuang? I've heard of you. Sir Ming looked Jian Wushuang. It's my honor to be known by you. Jian Wushuang smiled. We are in the Eternal World. Just call us by our names. My name is Ming Liu. Sir Ming said. Call me Wu Xin. I will be in trouble if anyone here wants to kill me just because he dislikes the name of Dark Emperor. Dark Emperor said. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang was surprised. Dark Emperor and Sir Ming were the unbridled top 2 experts in their ancient world. However, they seemed cautious and did not dare to use their titles in the Eternal World. It seems that only the 3 of us from our ancient world made it here to the Firmament Territory Feast. Dark Emperor commented as he looked around and realized that he didn't know anyone else. There was another drill ground, but fewer people were gathered there. Is that another drill ground over there? I guess people there are geniuses of the Eternal World. Geniuses of the Eternal World. Unlike them, people on the other drill ground were familiar with the Eternal World. They cast occasional glances at the ancient world visitors. Those glances were full of disdain. It was clear that the geniuses of the Eternal World looked down on them. The Eternal World geniuses had an innate sense of superiority, because the ancient worlds were plain worlds at a lower level, while the Eternal World had the dominant position of heavenly laws. A super expert in our ancient world once reached Eternal Realm in the Eternal World. When he returned, he said that the gap between the Eternal World and the ancient world was huge. A purple-clothed elder in the crowd spoke aloud. People in the Eternal World are born in particularly favorable natural conditions. Regardless of their talent, warriors will reach skyscraping realm and comprehend Tao within 100 years. Those who are talented can make it in decades. That's a built-in advantage we don't have. His words caused a great stir in the crowd. In the Eternal World, no matter how little talent warriors had, they could easily reach skyscraping realm within 100 years. But in the ancient world, only a few could reach skyscraping realm. In the Divine Land where Jian Wushuang came from, only 3 had reached skyscraping realm. They were the 3 ancestors. Warriors in ancient worlds had to accumulate plenty of experience before they could even hope for an opportunity to reach skyscraping realm. However, skyscraping realm experts in the Eternal World were common. Comparisons are odious. Many were complaining. Even the most ordinary places in the Eternal World possess spiritual power and origin energy at levels 100 times that of the ancient world. With such an environment for cultivation, of course they're stronger than us. Dark Emperor muttered with dissatisfaction. They should look down on us. We are much weaker. Jian Wushuang thought. It is only because they have a better cultivating environment. We will be no weaker than them in future. Ming Liu was unwilling to concede. The skyscraping realm experts of the ancient worlds continued to discuss. They felt uncomfortable under the watch of those disdainful eyes. Right then. Boom! A powerful force suddenly arose from the drill ground where the geniuses of the eternal world had gathered. Chapter 618. Excitement. Oh Xianxia, bastard, I found you. At the drill ground where the geniuses of the eternal world were gathered, a shout sounded. A white-robed young man was aggressively brandishing his long gold spear. The power had burst out from the long gold spear. The long spear glittered with gold and shone like the sun. It immediately drew the attention of all the warriors. That spear move! Audible gasps were heard around the ancient world camp as warriors saw the spear. His secret skill is so terrifying. Dark Emperor narrowed his eyes and Ming Liu stiffened. Jian Wushuang also couldn't help looking at the man. He perfectly mastered a pure light Dao. The spearmanship he displayed was an advanced rank 1 secret skill that he created himself. Jian Wushuang surmised. The man being attacked was a well-groomed young man holding a folding fan. As the white-robed man approached him, the young man lightly waved his folding fan in the air. As he turned his hand, waves erupted. The white-robed man's spear was engulfed by the waves and its power was quickly weakened. Soon its attack was neutralized. What? That's it. He diffused it with such a slight move. People of the ancient world camp cried out in astonishment. They had thought that the white-robed man was strong because of his deep Dao comprehension and his powerful secret skill. But on seeing the well-groomed man's move, they realized that he was much stronger. He has a high comprehension of water drop Dao. He has nearly completed the occult in the first level. Jian Wushuang thought. After diffusing the white-robed man's attack, the well-groomed man made another move, which seemed languid and simple. But as the folding fan moved, a storm of terrible sword essence was released. Whoosh! Almost instantaneously, a sparkling sword light reached the white-robed man from over 30 meters away. The white-robed man looked grave when he saw the incoming attack. He immediately thrust his long spear and it rushed forward like a golden dragon. Bang! The two forces collided with great force. Geniuses of the eternal world standing nearby dodged as its impact reverberated through the immediate area. The impact of the collision continued to rush to the ground but caused it no harm. In the air, the white-robed man gave a choked cry and stepped back in confusion. His right hand, which held the long spear, trembled slightly. Kill me. You're not strong enough. The well-groomed man said with a smile. His voice was like a warm and gentle breeze. The white-robed man's eyes blazed angrily and bitterly. He had already been defeated. So strong. These two men are terrible. Especially the well-groomed man, he simultaneously comprehended Water Drop Dao and Gale Dao, both at high levels. He has also created a powerful secret skill. He is much more powerful than me. The skyscraping realm warriors of the ancient world camp looked at them in shock. They had witnessed every detail of the clash. That was why they were shocked. They were so strong, stronger than most of them. God, how could they be so strong? Dark Emperor was despaired inwardly. He had created his own secret skill. Therefore, he had been confident that he was better than average among the skyscraping realm warriors in the ancient world camp. Just now, he had been angry at receiving disdainful glances from the geniuses of the eternal world. He had thought that their pride was unjustified. Now, he knew that they really were very strong. Either of the two men could defeat or kill him easily. They were stronger than him in Dao comprehension and secret skills. He did not even have the courage to fight them. Furthermore, they were just two ordinary warriors among the eternal world's geniuses. He could tell from their playful smiles the well-groomed man was stronger, but he was not necessarily ranked in the top 10. Are they geniuses of the eternal world? Jian Wushuang muttered as he looked at the two men with blazing eyes. He had reached a new stage after 3 years of earnest cultivation. He had lost interest fighting Dark Emperor, Ming Liu, or people like them. He was now more interested in challenging the geniuses of the eternal world. Having witnessed their fight, Jian Wushuang's heart surged with excitement and battle intent. Several other geniuses in the ancient world camp had the same sentiments as Jian Wushuang. Eternal world, this is the eternal world. Experts and geniuses are as numerous as clouds. Everyone here is no weaker than me. I'm expecting to fight them. People like Feng, Hui Ying, and Jian Wushuang felt excitement instead of fear. They had been unrivaled for too many years. Now they had rivals. Chapter 619. Battle of the Geniuses. Everyone's attention was drawn to these two men who had abruptly started to fight. You two, what are you doing? A cold voice echoed through the area. A figure appeared and hovered between the two drill grounds. The new arrival was a burly middle-aged man who was filled with killing intent and emitted a terrifying aura. His appearance drew shock from the warriors, including the white-robed man and the well-groomed man who had been fighting. This man directed his aura towards them, making it hard for them to catch their breath, as though they were pinned down by a huge mountain. My lord, he started the fight. I have to defend myself, right? The well-groomed man responded. The middle-aged man noticed the white-robed man's belligerent expression and instantly realized what had happened. During the Firmament Territory Feast, everyone is banned from fighting, except in certain places. Since you flouted that rule, you will be disqualified from taking part in the feast. Get out of here. As the man's words faded, an immaterial power assaulted the white-robed man. He did not even have a chance to defend himself and was instantly thrown out of the drill ground. Oh Xianxia, I can't accept it, I can't. Everyone at the drill grounds could hear his howls clearly. Eventually, those sounds faded and finally died out. Listen, the Firmament Territory Feast is held by numerous sects in the Firmament Territory. It is a grand feast with strict rules. Just now, I administered the minimum punishment. But from now on, whoever breaks the rules will be killed without mercy. The middle-aged man's voice echoed coldly. The geniuses and warriors in the skyscraping realm level were shocked by this threat and naturally did not intend to violate the rules. The middle-aged man swept his gaze over the gathered crowd and continued. The feast is held every 3,000 years and is the grandest genius feast in the Firmament Territory. I know all of you come from different places. Some hail from the eternal world, but more of you are from the ancient world. However, during the feast, everyone is equal. We will only focus on your talent and strength. As long as your talent and strength are good enough, you will have a chance to join the top sects here. So the key point is that we will only judge you by your talent and strength. Hearing this, the geniuses and warriors clasped their hands together in anticipation. There are 4 rounds in the Firmament Territory Feast. After each round, most of you will have been eliminated. The stronger are, the higher your chances of joining a sect. The first round of the genius battle will begin in an hour. You should prepare for it now. After his announcement, the middle-aged man closed his eyes and ignored the geniuses on the drill ground. The crowd stirred. 4 rounds of the genius battle. What will they be like? Many warriors were curious. Although I'm not sure what the genius battle is like, an elder from the ancient world said that the first round is very important. It'd be good if we could pass that round. The big sects might not be interested in us, but we could hope to become outer disciples in some small sects, a purple-haired elder said. Outer disciples. So, you mean we can only be outer disciples in small sects if we pass the first round? Many in the crowd frowned. Being an outer disciple just didn't compare with being an inner disciple, especially if one belonged to a small sect. The geniuses and warriors gathered here for the Firmament Territory Feast wanted to join the top sects. Joining a stronger sect would mean access to more cultivation resources, and more room to cultivate and improve. Being only an outer disciple in a small sect would not satisfy most of the warriors. It's already an impressive achievement to become an outer disciple in a small sect. The elder mentioned that most people from the ancient world did not even manage to join a small sect. Instead, they wandered in the firmament territory when the feast was over. It's very dangerous here, and it'll be hard to survive if you don't have the protection of a sect, the purple-haired elder said and sneered. Those who lacked confidence in their strength reacted visibly to this revelation. They knew that the purple-haired elder was right. They had just arrived here and were unfamiliar with the eternal world. They were also not strong enough. Without the protection from a sect, they would barely survive here. Anyway, we need to pass the first round at the very least. I'm not holding out hope for the other rounds, but I have to pass the first one. At a minimum, I'll have to pass the first round. Then I can try my best to pass as many of the subsequent rounds. The warriors from the ancient world stood with their hands clasped together as they made their resolutions for the feast. Soon, 1 hour passed. The middle-aged man hovering in the void opened his eyes and waved his hand. A huge wormhole appeared at the perimeter of each drill ground. The battlefield of the first round is inside the wormhole, the man bellowed. For the first round, we will separate the ancient world and the eternal world. So there are 2 battlefields in 2 wormholes. One is for the ancient world and the other is for the eternal world. These 2 battlefields won't have any connection. The warriors from the ancient world camp were relieved on hearing that. So in the first round, we are not going to fight with the geniuses from the eternal world. These geniuses from the eternal world have more cultivation resources and they should be much stronger than us. Luckily, we are not going to fight them just yet. In this case, I think I stand a good chance to pass the first round. Chapter 620, Round 1 Rules. Having witnessed the ferocious fight between the 2 geniuses from the eternal world earlier, the ancient world warriors were relieved that they wouldn't fight eternal world warriors in the first round. Of course, while some were glad, others were disappointed. They are going to separate us in the first round. What a pity. It seems I'll only have a chance to challenge the geniuses from the eternal world in the second round. It will be very boring if there are no the eternal world geniuses in the first round. The warriors who expressed disappointment were confident of their strength. They thought they were the real geniuses. For instance, Jian Wushuang was one of the warriors who felt that the first round would be unchallenging. Now, all of you can enter the wormhole, the middle-aged man said. The geniuses and warriors rushed into their respective wormholes without hesitating. The entry into the wormhole was relatively uneventful for the geniuses from the eternal world. For the ancient world, tens of thousands of people swarmed into the wormhole like locusts. Jian Wushuang also stepped into the wormhole without any hesitation. Soon, he found that he was on a vast plain with a dense jungle, some high mountains and rivers. Jian Wushuang glanced around the plain and noticed people standing near him. All of these people were at the skyscraping realm in the ancient world. They had just stepped into the wormhole and were very curious about this area. All scattered? Jian Wushuang thought to himself. On this seemingly endless plain, there were numerous warriors, but they were all scattered. Jian Wushuang's expression changed slightly. There was a token in his right hand that was emitting a unique power, but he didn't understand its purpose. What's the first round of the genius battle and what are the rules? Jian Wushuang mumbled. Right at this moment. Listen. The middle-aged man's voice echoed clearly above the entire plain. In first round of the genius battle, what you need to do is to kill others. As for the rules that are used to judge if you can pass this round, I'm sorry to tell you there are no rules. All of you are scattered over the plain. What you need to do is try your best to kill all the people around you and display your strength. Easy. We will announce the result when the time is right. Hearing this, all the warriors from the ancient world were stunned. No judgment rules? They would display their strength and get the results at the end? It seemed strange to everyone except Jian Wushuang, who understood that having no rules was the rule. No one knew the judgment rules, so no one would be confident of the result. Everyone would be nervous, so they would try their best to kill their opponents and display their strength. Each of you has a token now. That is your safety token. When your life is threatened, It will defend you against the attack, but you will also be immediately banished from the battlefield and disqualified from the feast. That means you don't need to worry about your safety here. The middle-aged man's voice still echoed in the void. The people on the battlefield finally understood the purpose of the token. Now I declare that the first round of the Firmament Territory Feast has begun, the middle-aged man announced, and his voice gradually faded away. Abruptly, the plain erupted in riots. No rule, so it's based on your strength to kill as many people as possible. That means I have to kill others instead of hiding. The more people I kill, the greater strength I display. Then I will have a good chance to pass this round. Jian Wushuang squinted as his right hand slowly stretched towards his heart-killing sword. At the same time, he noticed there were more than 10 skyscraping realm warriors nearby. They were all observing this area with strong killing intents. Kill! Kill! After the 2 successive howls, one person made his move and triggered the rest to begin attacking. Without reason or logic, they tried their best to kill as many people as they could on the battlefield. Everyone on the battlefield was an enemy. The rampant killing broke out in the blink of an eye. Boom! 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 Powerful roars resounded through the void as killings took place all over the battlefield. Jian Wushuang was solemn. He glanced around him as he held his heart-killing sword. Go to hell! An aquamarine hair woman with a ferocious look popped up beside Jian Wushuang. Her soft sword swiftly cut towards his throat like a lightning flash. She had already comprehended Gale Dao, so its speed was extremely fast. Hum! Jian Wushuang snorted, then thrust his sword in her direction. His speed was at least several times faster than the woman's. It was also sneaky and full of killing intent. His attack was launched after the woman's, but it reached its destination earlier, at the front of her throat. How is that possible? The aquamarine hair woman looked terrified. Her words died as Jian Wushuang's long sword cut her throat. Her token was broke and blocked Jian Wushuang's attack. It emitted a shining light covering the woman and sent her out of the battlefield. Outside the drill ground, the aquamarine hair woman appeared again. She looked around and smiled bitterly. My strength is ranked 3rd in the ancient world. I never expected to be defeated by my first opponent in the first round of the genius battle. As Jian Wushuang had killed the woman with only 1 attack, all attention on the battlefield was drawn to him. There are still 13 people around me. I need to kill all of them. His eyes turned cold and his figure swept out violently.